What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? I'm back. I'm back. As you can see, no more tropical backgrounds. I am back home. This is going to be your review for Pose Season 2, Episode 5. Um, what would Candy do? I normally don't even say the title in when I do my reviews, but honey, not what would Candy do? This was a really good episode, and it really was almost it was a tale. It was almost rich brother, poor brother, a tale of two mothers, like however you want to spin it. So we start this episode off. We see Damon. Um, oh my bad. Go ahead and click this. Go ahead and hit subscribe, and I hope you like this video. We see Damon. He's still doing his classes down at the YMCA. Well, no, actually, we start off with this whole news report on Vogue and voguing and how voguing is taking over the world and it's worldwide and the song is at the top of the charts and everybody wants to learn how to vogue and these suburban house mothers are taking classes on how to vogue and it's become like a new dance craze, like a soul cycle or something like that. And I talked about it a little bit last week in my review last week when we talked about just the watering down of the culture. You know, we saw it with hip hop, we saw it with breakdancing, we've seen it. I'm sure I could pull a million other examples, but I know in my childhood, I just remember seeing it. Same thing happened with disco. I just remember seeing it in my growing up, with um hip hop, being a child of the 80s and 90s, and just seeing the watering down of it. You know what I mean? Now seeing rap. I mean, seeing commercials with rap, and just everything. So it's sort of the same thing we're seeing with voguing. We're going to see something really interesting towards the end of this episode with the whole appropriation of the culture, but then I want to include the culture. We'll get to that though. So Damon is doing his classes, honey. The demand has far exceeded the supply. They need Damon to add classes, and he's doing his thing. He's a really good teacher. He seems to have a good rapport with the women, and there was a couple of men in the class too. And everything is everything. They get to the end of the class, and one of the women approaches him, and they get to talking, and he was like, "Yeah, I can tell this was your first class." He was like, "But it's okay, it's easy." She was like, "Look, that ain't even why I'm here." She said, "I'm here. I'm a scout for Madonna. She's looking for dancers for her Blonde Ambition tour, and we want you to come down. And actually, I'm gonna move you to the front of the line. I'm inviting you personally to come down and audition." Um, Again, if you are a child of the 80s and 90s, then you know what the Blonde Ambition tour was. You know how big it was. You know how huge Madonna was at that time. I mean, she had coffee table books, and um, she did the movie Truth or Dare, and all of that. You know what I'm saying? This is before Netflix and that kind of stuff where people go to the movie theater. People went to the movie theater to see a documentary on her tour, and so you understand at that time how big it was. And of course, Madonna was just Madonna. And Damon is excited. He tells Blanca about it. And Blanca, being the mother that she is, was all positive. Was like she already had him on the tour bus, baby. And Blanca was like, "Look, I told y'all this was our year. We've got Angel on the cover of Wet and Wild campaigns. And Angel, I mean, not Angel, Poppy is her acted as her manager. He told Damon, "Look, I could be your manager too," And we see that if they just, again, everybody is happy for everybody. There's no jealousy. There's no nastiness with it. It's just all love. Then we go across the city to the house of Wintour. And they're sitting in this wonderful living room eating sushi with chopsticks, honey. And come to find out, Ricky has also been invited to audition. The same thing, moved to the front of the line. He was able to get the audition based on him knowing people, dancers in the industry from touring with Albie Shore, and they said Taylor Dane or whatever. Well, the friend was a dancer for Taylor Dane. We have a totally different attitude with Electra. Everything out of her mouth is I, me, what I did for you. Look at what I've done for my children. Look at the opportunities I've afforded my children. Look at how great my house is because of my children. This is a great opportunity for the House of Wintour. And when you become a dancer for Madonna, I'll be her new best friend, sunbathing in Cannes. Like this, that was the whole attitude. Whereas Blanca was us, we, the House of Evangelista. I can't believe we, us, us, us. So you definitely see this tale of two cities, so to speak, going on. Blanca tells Damon, look, somehow or another they got to talking about Ricky. Oh, she was saying it's good to see him smile again instead of sulking on the couch, over Ricky or whatever. And she was like, "Are you over him?" And he was like, "Yes, I'm over Ricky. We see each other. He act like he don't even know me anymore. And she said, "Look, he misses you as much as you miss him. He's not going to show it the same way you're going to show it. That's just not who he is. But he misses you." She said, "I tell you what," she said, "I'm all on board with this, but you have to get you have to get somebody's permission." Um, and she tells him, she says, "Look, you need to talk to Helena. I'm not going to disrespect Helena. You have one more semester of school. She's bent over backwards for you throughout these last couple of years with your schooling. You're so close to graduation. I understand this is an opportunity of a lifetime, but if she is not okay with it, I'm not signing off on it." And of course, at first, Ricky was like, "No, no," you're like, "No." But then he does go to talk to Helena, and he explains himself, and he explains where he's coming from, and he let her know, "Look, Blanca told me that I owed you this much respect to come to you," and I think that meant a lot. That he didn't just go behind her back, or he didn't just disappear. The fact that and again, Blanca is teaching these life lessons that this is how you deal with things. They're not always the easiest conversations to have. It may not even always be you may not even always understand that it's a conversation you have to have, but the fact that she's teaching him these lessons is just a wonderful thing. And he takes her out. He takes Helena out for coffee, and he explains himself. And Helena said, "Look, I basically was in your same situation, and people didn't understand my desire to leave where I was and go on tour with a dancing company. But at that moment, the world needed to see a little black girl in this dance troupe." She said, "And I don't get the whole hip hop thing, pop music or whatever, but I do understand that this is an opportunity of a lifetime." She said, "So I'm going to give you my blessing with one caveat. You have to come back and graduate no matter how this goes down. Okay, if you want to tour for 5 years, you're going to come back and you're going to finish your last semester and you're going to graduate." And he was like, "I promise, I promise, I promise." Um, so now we see again the different houses dealing with the situation differently. Blanca says, "Look, we all got to dig in. We got to help Damon Ricky get a makeover. We're going to get him ready for this audition. Um, Miss Electra says, "Look, I ain't no huggy feely kind of mother. I ain't gonna hug you. I ain't gonna make you feel good, but I can provide." And she pulls out a drawer full of cash and says, "Look, y'all go do what y'all got to do to make him presentable so he doesn't embarrass us." And they get him, that he has a shave and all this other stuff, and they get him a new wardrobe, and he gets, he's taking dance lessons and all this other stuff. Ricky, on the other hand, Damon, on the other hand, is doing push-ups in the living room with Poppy, right? But they doing what they can do. They're doing what they can do. And Electra told Damon, Electra didn't tell Damon nothing. Electra told Ricky. And again, here's the difference between the two houses. Blanca's talking to them. They're having dinner the night before the audition or the day of the audition or what have you. And Blanca's telling him how proud of him she is and how, no matter what, we're still family. We're still here together. No matter how this goes down, it's all us. On the other hand, with the House of Wintour, Electra tells Damon, "Okay, you look, I've washed off the stench of Evangelista." Tells Ricky, "Golly, I've washed the stench of Evangelista off you, and if you don't get that job, don't bother coming home." And he smiled like she was playing, and she looked at him like, I'm not playing. If you will not bring shame to this house." Um, so they go out that night. There's a ball, and Damon and no, I got ahead of myself. The next day is the audition. I'm sorry. And they end up in the same group, and they have a good little moment. Damon is a little more forgiving than my spirit would allow me to be. But okay, him and Ricky have a nice little conversation. They have a nice little moment, and they're cordial to each other. They really are. They kind of throw a little catty back and forth, but for the most part, they're cordial. They do the routine. You can tell they had taught them a routine. They do the routine, and both of them are kind of feeling good. But you could tell that Damon does not have as much confidence that he did as well as Ricky seems to feel. Ricky is like, oh, I did that. I did that. I'm gonna go pack my bags right now because I'm ready for this. And they both have to wait for a callback. Come to find out, they have a conversation that they feel like they're the only two there from ballroom. They were like, they've seen a lot of the dancers around at different situations, but they don't really see anybody else from ballroom there with them. And again, that goes back to what I was saying earlier about you want to appropriate the culture, but then you don't want to include the culture. You'd rather get dancers who can vogue than get people who vogue who can dance. If that makes sense. But they're waiting for the call back. Damon and Ricky, actually, both of them end up getting the call back. They make it real, real dramatic, and they build up to it. But they both end up getting the call back, and um, they end up walking the ball. Damon and Ricky are in the same category where they're doing their Vogue thing, and y'all, why I keep getting ahead of myself? Let me rewind again, rewind again, rewind again. Whew, okay. The House of Wintour has a house meeting. I don't know how I missed this. This was the most important part of the damn episode. They have a house meeting. Electra says, what would Candy do? They were like, what? I mean, Candy ain't take no stuff off of nobody. In this situation, what would Candy do? She said, so I tell you what, I have Candy's hammer, her most prized possession. And she wants somebody from the House of Wintour to Nancy Kerrigan, Damon. And she tells them basically, they were like, you want us to hit this, but you want us to hit the man in the knee? She said, I mean, you don't have to be a knee. You can just hit his foot a little bit. And one of the guys that's a member of the House of Wintour was like, look, I ain't with this. Like, you done went too far. Like, I'm all for some good shade and some bullshit, but this is too much. I'm not doing all that. And then when he even was like, why won't you do it yourself? And she kind of gave him the look, and she was like, because I don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, that's not my job. But so they end up going to the ball that night, and he ends up telling Angel what the plan is, because they were going to get Damon while he was walking, while he was doing his category. They were going to the hammer was going to accidentally fly out of somebody's hand onto his foot, right? That was the plan. So y'all know Blanca. Blanca rolled up on Electra like, I'm gonna whoop all your ass. She was like, look, I ain't even gonna ask you if it's true, because I already know it's true. I already know that this is who you are. And to Electra's credit, Electra ain't try to pretend. She ain't try to act like it ain't happened. Electra was like, look, I wasn't trying to maim the boy. I just wanted to hurt his foot a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And so they go back and forth, but ultimately Electra was like, Blanca was like, if you don't give me that damn hammer, it's about to be me and you right here. And I saw that Electra backed her ass down and gave Blanca that damn hammer, though. She ain't want no pun out. Now, she might be a lot of things, but I don't think Fool is one of them. She wasn't trying to see Electra, okay? Blanca. She wasn't trying to see, Blanca is Mother Bear when it comes to her children, okay? So they end up walking the ball. Damon and Ricky were in the category together. They were voguing, and Damon ends up winning. He got 10s across the board. And Ricky got all 10s except for 1 9. And what Pray Tell said was, the sins of the mother are visited on the child. Basically, you didn't win because we all know what the fuck Electra was trying to do tonight. Like, it ain't, the ballroom is small and we all know what the dealio is. Ain't no secrets around here. So for real, you probably should have won that category or could have won that category. But because your mother is running around here trying to cause havoc, that just to slam it in her face, Damon done won. And I was like, okay, here we go. So both of them end up going for that. And I'm sorry that after that, Damon tries to give Ricky the trophy. He says, look, you earned this. You know what I mean? You really were better than me tonight. And they have a moment where they kind of go back and forth, and you see they almost kiss, and Damon pulls away like, we ain't doing that. Nope. we ain't doing that. And he was like, I miss you. You know, I done broke up with Chris. And then, you know, here's what I don't understand that people don't understand. Why do you think I would be happy to find out that the person you cheated on me with, you broke up with? I don't give a damn. You cheated on me with this person. I could care less. I could care less about what happened after that. But neither here nor there. I think he thought that was going to make Damon run back and jump into his arms like, oh, you did? Oh, it's me and you again. And you see the regret on Ricky's face. Like, Ricky really is, I think it's a combination. I think it's a regret that he went that damn house and went to on that crazy ass Electra. I think, because he didn't know about this. He wasn't in the room when Electra was trying to get them um, to Nancy Kerrigan, Damon. He wasn't in the room. But I don't. Anyway, so we see them go. Both of them go back for their cattle call. I mean, for their call back. Neither one of them get the job. And again, that goes back to what I've been saying. You know, you steal from the ballroom, for lack of a better word. You steal from the ballroom, but when it came down for your tour, you didn't pick ballroom people. And again, I know this is the movie. I don't know if in real life on the Blonde Ambition tour, if there were actually people from the ballroom there. I couldn't tell you that. I do know was it Willie Ninja, I believe. I believe he toured with Madonna. I know somebody's gonna get me together in the comments if I'm wrong, but I thought he did at one point. But neither no, he didn't tour. No. 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 Did I know Willie Ninja toured when the whole Vogue thing was hot. I know he did. Whether it was with Madonna or not, I'm not sure. But neither here nor there. For the purposes of this show, you pull from the ballroom culture, but when it comes down to using that culture in your mainstream, that ain't who you really want. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, it's like, you know, anyway, y'all know what I'm saying. So the talent scout who had first approached Damon after his class came at Damon and was like, look, I'm really sorry you guys didn't make it. She was like, look, but I still believe in y'all. Because him and Ricky were together after the audition. And again, they were in a good place. Neither one of them made it, but they were in a good place and talking and stuff like that. And she said, you know, there's a producer that's trying to reboot Solid Gold. And of course, Ricky ain't know what the hell Solid Gold was. Damon was like, "Are you crazy? Solid Gold is like the best. Was like the best show ever." And I remember Solid Gold. I remember the reboot of Solid Gold. And he said, she said, "So I'm gonna send you guys on that audition, and y'all can get a chance to talk to him." Well, the dude is shiesty as hell. He was like, "Look, I bought the rights to Solid Gold. I'm gonna reboot it, but look, I don't have a whole lot of money. I can't pay y'all more than scale." But so they were like, "Okay, well, when do we audition?" He was like, "Audition. This is the audition. Y'all got the gig." And so they do a whole sequence where they show them dancing, him, Ricky, and Damon, and they going through the top 10 um, songs of the week. And of course, all the songs I remember, all the songs I was like, yes. And of course, they get to number one, and we know what's number one, Vogue. And so they were shooting the pilot. So basically, when it's over with, they're like, look, hopefully somebody will pick up the pilot. And again, they're having a great moment. And Ricky just comes right out and says to Damon, look, let's get back together. Like, I miss you. I want to be with you again. And so proud of Damon, because looked like Damon might have been, maybe for a minute, Damon was going to fall for it for a minute. But Damon said, you know what? Let's try being friends. Let's agree to be friends. And you never know what the future might hold. And of course, that ain't what Ricky wanted to hear. But at the end of the day, he accepted it. They shook hands on it. And that's sort of where the episode ended. And, I'm going to say this. I'm glad they gave us a fun episode, because it was cool. It was good to the storyline. But after last week and then the previews for next week, I'm glad that they gave us some light. They lightened it up for us, because, honey, I couldn't do 3 weeks of this. I couldn't do 3 weeks of this. But this was the first episode this season that I wasn't emotional and crying and all of that. So, but it was a really good episode, and I think it was a good moment for Ricky and Damon. It shows the growth and Damon, it shows, and it shows the growth in Ricky as well, because Ricky was a player, and I don't think he would have thought twice about what he did to Damon when they first met. Like Damon was just something, was another conquest, and he really truly fell in love with him. And it'll be interesting to see if he stays with the House of Winter, because I really think he went to the House of Winter one out of him feeling like he needed to leave the house, and a little bit of get back. So anyway, we will see what happens. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in the comments. Peace.